These videos are intended to outline some techniques for encouraging behaviour change. They pay particular attention to the role of motivational interviewing within shorter consultations and draw on the work of Stephen Rolnick, William Miller and Brett Nichols, amongst others. In simple terms, motivational interviewing, or MI, is designed to encourage clients to talk themselves into making a change. A practitioner's role in helping to bring this about is to act as a guide, clarifying a client's strengths and aspirations, listening to their concerns, boosting their confidence in their own ability to change, and eventually collaborating with them on a plan for change. We'll look in detail at some techniques that can be used to encourage constructive conversations in the second video, whilst in the third video we'll focus on planning and goal setting. In this first video, however, we'll be looking at the stages of change model. Practitioners may find this framework useful when gauging how best to guide their discussions with clients. So, developed by Prochaska and DiClemente in the early 1980s, the trans-theoretical behaviour change model is a tool with which to assess individuals' readiness to change their health behaviours. The model offers various strategies for supporting people at different stages in the change journey, and what's more, it fundamentally accepts the importance that individuals actually feel ready and willing to make a change in order for them to stand the best chance of success. The model itself begins with pre-contemplation. Individuals that are pre-contemplating changing their behaviour are unlikely to have any intention of doing anything currently, and may in fact perceive the pros of carrying on how they are as outweighing the cons. Pre-contemplators may also have a demoralised self-image and doubt their own ability to improve their health. In these instances, it may be appropriate for the practitioner to recognise the normality of this kind of situation in order to non-judgmentally re-explore the pros and cons of the behaviour. If, as a practitioner, you find that your client is expressing an interest in learning more about the effects of the behaviour under discussion, you might wish to consider offering some educational advice. Contemplation represents the next stage in the process and will likely involve a client openly thinking about making a change to their behaviour. That being said, there may still be some mixed feelings about change that require further exploration. Within MI, these mixed feelings are known as ambivalence. Encouraging clients to think about where they could be were they to act on their ideas, as well as considering any potential barriers that may stand in the way of them achieving this, can both be useful strategies in such situations. During the preparation stage, the client may have begun making concrete plans to change, and they may feel as though the cons associated with the behaviour outweigh the pros of continuing with it. Chiefly during this stage, the practitioner will be collaborating on the creation of a change plan. It may here be beneficial to help the client identify any barriers they feel they might come up against and to encourage them to make their intentions public. Supporting self-confidence and working to resolve any remaining ambivalence that the client feels towards making the change may also both come into play here for the practitioner. In the action stage, the individual will have actively taken steps to change their behaviour. They may, for example, have poured away their beers, stopped smoking, or embarked on an exercise regime. Practitioners should be aware that this stage is the least stable in the change process and involves a high risk of relapse. Supporting individuals who've taken action might involve reinforcing the benefits of the change that they've chosen to make. Helping to identify tangible and realistic criteria with which clients can measure their own progress can also be helpful in these situations. The maintenance stage entails individuals successfully avoiding their former behaviours and keeping up the new ones. This stage can last months and even years depending on the person and the behaviour in question. Whilst the risk of relapse remains high, this will subside as the new behaviour is continued with. Acknowledging this and recognising how far an individual may have come, as well as reflecting the new benefits being felt, may all be appropriate at this point in the process. So while this model can be a useful tool with which to conceive of the change journey, It's only intended as a theoretical framework and does require both flexibility and fluidity when being used. Relapses may, for example, occur at any stage and cause individuals to move back one or more stages at a time. Similarly, swift movement through the stages is possible. Someone may, for example, move from contemplation quickly through to taking action after having a health check and realizing that they may actually be more susceptible to developing adverse health conditions than they thought. The key point is that it doesn't help to be too rigid when using the model. It does, however, come into its own when used to gain a broad indication of where a client may be in their own journey. Once you've got some familiarity with where the client feels they are in terms of what behaviours they might like to talk about and how ready they are to change, you, as a practitioner, will likely be increasingly well equipped to appropriately focus the consultation in a way that's constructive. So thanks for watching, and in the next video we'll look more in depth at the techniques and approach that can help bring about motivational consultations.